I want to talk about, just because the first thing that it starts off with, because this will be what's in the book, it just talks about the vocab rigid, which I'll come back to, but it jumps right to the activity, okay? So I just want to make sure that our drawings on our activities are good, okay? And then we'll go back to filling in what's in the notes, okay? So the very first one that you had was the one where you broke the pieces of the noodles, okay, and put them together with the measurements that were on your paper. Let me borrow some of these. Okay. So you had these numbers. You had the 2, 3, 4, okay, and the 2, 4, 6. So you're supposed to put 2, 3, 4 together to make triangle ABC, and then the 2, 4, 6 together to make triangle XYZ, okay? So if you were to compare your triangles to somebody else's, like if you were actually, like the overheads that we used to have, and you were to put it on top of somebody else's, your triangles should be exactly the same. Now, it might be rotated, it might be flipped over, okay, but it still would be the same triangle, okay? So what you did, and I know these are not the measurements that were on there, but we just measured using the straws, we broke them off, and then obviously you can meet up on those. But you had to manipulate these to make a triangle, okay? So you had to change the angles and work with them so that you could get the triangle out of it, okay? So your triangle, and we're gonna label these, okay? So your smallest side, okay, was side AB. So if you didn't label that, make sure you've got that labeled, okay? That was the AB, and we're gonna put the 2 on the outside because that was the side length. Okay, and then the next longest side, which was your 3, okay, that's going to be your, where your B was at, then you're going to label it with a C. So it might be down here if yours is flipped, okay? So your second longest side was your BC, and that was the 3. Okay, and then your longer one would already be labeled because you put the C and you have the A, but you're going to label that with a 4. Okay, so when we put that together, we didn't have any angles. You didn't trace any angles. They were all sides, okay? So we call that side, side, side. So on the inside of your triangle, you're going to put S, S, S. Okay, so the same thing with this one. We're going to label this one, but on the inside of this one, you're also going to label it as S, S, S. Okay, the shortest side on this triangle was your XY, and it was 2 inches. Okay, then you had one that was 4 inches, so the next longest side, which is that one. Okay, that's your YZ motorcycle. Okay, and then your last side, you're just going to label that as 6. So you have triangle XYZ, triangle ABC, and this was a side, side, side.
Did you say motorcycle?
Good, you're listening. Yeah. Okay, we're going to come back and fill in what we know about side, side, side in just a minute. Okay, we're going to check our other ones. So then we went to the part 1 triangle. Now I have 2 of them on here. And I'm actually going to have, I'm going to put this one up here because I think this is a little bit bigger. Okay, so I just want to explain this one. So this was the one where we drew the angle, okay? So here's the angle right here. So actually I want you to mark your angle. So this is the angle, this would be A. Now if yours looks like this, okay, that's fine because it just depends on which side you put the AB. Okay, so you're gonna mark angle A. Okay, and that was the one, anybody saw the back page on there? If not, I'll grab one from the front. No? Okay. Okay, so that was the one where we had, because I told you to rip it off and you could throw it away. This is the one where you trace the angle first. Okay, so we trace the angle first on our paper, and then we noticed that there was an A on both of them. Okay, so we could put the AB down here, okay, or you could have put the AB on this side. It didn't matter, okay? And then whatever side you chose to put the AB on, then the AC went on the other side, okay? So that's why these look a little bit different, Okay, so this one has the AB on this side, so I don't know which one you did, but you'll label it as AB, and then I want you to mark the side. Okay. And then if you had the AB down here, then this was your AC, and I want you to mark the side. So if you flipped it and put the AB on this side, okay, you're still going to mark it, then you would put the AC on this side and mark it. Okay, so this is called, they gave us a side, and then in between it is a angle, and this is a side. So this is how we start to label them and name them, okay? It's a side, angle, side. There was an angle in between the two sides that we were given, okay? So it's a side, angle, side. It's not any random order, okay? Okay, we don't want to put ASS, right? Right, Brody? No ASS, okay? Because it's not an angle and two sides. We don't say that word, yes, and we don't say it backwards, okay? Yes.
I don't think I'm looking. Why? How did you get a SAS instead of SSS? Like, what's different is what I'm asking. I don't
Okay, so if you look at the letters, you have a quick question. Finish the test. Okay. If you look at the letters, the A is in between, right? In between the two sides. So when we put it together, the angle was in between the two sides.
Oh.
So you have to put it in the order of how it is on the
Okay.
triangle and the information that was given.
Thank you.
No, it's a good question. Okay, so we had the angle is in between the two sides that we were given, so it's a side, angle, side. So it's basically in order that you don't want the ASS because that would be angle, side, side. That would mean the angle is not in between the two sides. Okay, and we're going to practice it. Okay. Okay, so I don't depend on which one you have. Just make sure the two sides are labeled and the angle in between, and then you're labeling it side, angle, side. Okay, we good? Okay, so then we went to the part 2. Okay, so the part 2 one, we drew the side first. Okay, so we traced the side, and then we manipulated these. Okay, so I have this angle A, and I turned it when we created it, and I put the angle A on there, and then I drew the angle. Okay, and then I did the same thing with the B one. So I would have turned it and put it on the B, okay, and then drew that angle. Okay, so when we finish up, this one is your part 2. Okay, should look like this. Okay, so this was my AB. I don't know how long I'm going to make it today. This was my AB. Okay, so my angle A was on this side, and my angle B was on this side. Okay, so you're going to mark the angles, and then we knew the side, and then there was an angle. So different from our last one, what is in between the two angles? A side. So we call it an angle, side, angle. So on the inside, you're calling it an ASA. We're just abbreviating so we don't have to write the words out. So angle, side, angle. The side is in between the two angles. Okay, we good? Okay, so those were all of our creation things that we did. Okay, so I got to stop this recording now.